Plami, and welcome to Plami's Thoughts On. I am not amused. Seriously, I have a lot of things to say about this goddamn episode. It's a lot of things that I've already said about a lot of episodes this season, but this one just pissed me the fuck off by the end. Because, there were some really cool moments in this episode, and I was like, hey, it's actually really fun. It feels like a really engaging episode for a mid-season finale. It feels like a mid-season finale. But then it just fucking slapped me in the face and called me its bitch. You know, I never really understood people's whining about the season 6 finale and how it ends without us seeing anybody's death, only for us to get the deaths in the next episode. And even the season 7 premiere kind of took its time to reveal who actually died. And I never really understood it because, yeah, it bothered me at first when I watched it, but at the end of the day, I was just that much more excited to find out what was going to happen. Now though, with this episode, I get it. I mean, I still don't get it for that time back then because I still wasn't that bothered back then, but this one now just really pissed me off the way it ended with a shitty cliffhanger. Because it was a shitty cliffhanger. It was unnecessary, and it's different from that cliffhanger in season 6 because in this one we know that nobody is going to die from that. At least with the season 6 finale, we knew somebody certainly died. It was the fear of not knowing who died that was really cool. In this case, we know that Maggie and Negan are gonna be completely fine. So what the fuck was the point? How are you gonna justify? How are they gonna justify splitting this episode like this? This just feels artificially done. And it pisses me off so much because, again, it's very artificial and it feels like they did it like this because maybe they didn't have the time to finish off the story. And my thinking from this point is that, well, maybe if they didn't waste their fucking time with pointless scenes throughout the last 5 episodes, maybe they could have had the time to finish off the storyline. And at this point, they've dragged out this shitty storyline so much, and they've removed any of the interesting and cool factor from it so much that it just doesn't deserve another episode. Just fucking end it. Nobody gives a shit anymore. Just fucking end this shitty story. I can move on to the Commonwealth. I don't understand why the Commonwealth arriving at Alexandria couldn't have been the cliffhanger. That's much better. Why? Fucking why? And now, because the show decided to air the show earlier than they usually did, we're gonna have to wait that much longer for us to actually get to the mid-season premiere. Although it's not a mid-season premiere because it's the second part of a 3-part season. But now we're gonna have to wait 2 months more to see it, because right now it's October 5th or 6th it's today. And usually it's around this time that The Walking Dead actually starts airing. So it's gonna be 2 months longer, because I doubt they're gonna start releasing the episodes in fucking January or something. What the fuck would they? But maybe they will. Right now it's not fucking clear. But yeah, it just fucking pissed me off because there was a lot of cool shit in this episode that I actually really enjoyed. Although, one thing that really pissed me off very early on in the episode is how Daryl again seems to be kind of become somewhat mute. And it kind of makes me question why the fuck they chose Daryl to be the inside man if they're not gonna have any meaningful fucking conversations with him. What's the point? Just Norman Reedus looking pretty in those scenes? Why? At least if it was some other character, maybe Gabriel or, I don't know, Elijah. I feel like there could have been some interesting conversations between Pope and Daryl, but Usually now it's just Pope asking Daryl stuff and Daryl just simply answering without much elaboration, and it's fucking boring, and it bothers me. It bothers me. And these kind of issues, like, they might have been present in other episodes, but like now there was the lack of enjoyment, which made me usually what made me overlook inconsistencies and imperfections. Like, for example, in that sixth episode, which I really enjoyed with Connie. I think it was a great episode, and I really enjoyed it. But there was some dumb shit in it as well. Like I said in that episode, those feral people running around was kind of cheesy a little bit, but I was able to overlook it because the episode was otherwise that fucking good. But in this episode, there's not enough goodness to justify the dumb shit. And I feel like in general, the show is for some reason focusing on such pointless bullshit. And it's like not even taking an advantage out of a cool set piece. Like, okay, there's a storm in this episode. Instead of actually doing something interesting, they just have it be the plot, I guess. And an excuse to get our characters away. I mean, there's so much to complain about in this episode, so since I watched this one more recently than the other one, I'm gonna be going back to my normal recap review style. So, if I remember correctly, the episode opens up with the walkers arriving at Meridian and all the Reapers and Daryl looking at them from like a looking tower, I guess you could say. From the wall. They're standing close on the wall and they're seeing the walkers. Pope asks Daryl whether he has seen something like this, and Daryl answers yeah, but he obviously doesn't say, oh, there's people who walk with the dead who are inside that horde. But again, as I said, these kind of interactions, him just simply answering with like one or a couple of words, it's kind of fucking boring. This just bothers me because it plays into the issue of the show wasting time instead of spending it on valuable things. Like, instead of giving this to Daryl, could have given it to Gabriel, could have had some meaningful conversation. And something that I forgot to talk about for the last episode, so I'm gonna mention it here, is that one scene where Gabriel is sent off to scout the Meridian and look at the Reapers, and he comes across one of the Reapers who is like a preacher or something. He's religious, and he just stands there and looks at him. They don't even have a fucking conversation. Like, why would you just stop spending time on dumb scenes like this? Okay, I'm tired of them. It's the last season. I feel like that pressure of the fact that it's the last season and we're not really getting what we should be getting in the last seasons, it's ruining my experience of this season. Because otherwise this scene is fine. But the fact that it's the last season and that they're not spending it on meaningful character development is fucking bothering me. Like, what is gonna be the payoff to that scene? In episode 9, he's going to end up killing him anyway, when he could have killed him there, and we could have had a cool fight scene? So yeah, Maggie, Negan, Elijah, and Gabriel are leading the walkers toward Meridian, but Meridian, the Reapers have put a lot of protection around Meridian in the form of mines and other explosives. So our group can't exactly get close, and it's gotta be careful. So they send in the walkers first. And that was actually really cool. I liked all the explosions that we got with those walkers. But what's probably my favorite scene of the episode, it's definitely gonna be that scene in which after the Pope, after they see that the walkers are surrounding Meridian and are just walking weirdly, Pope sends out one of his men, Wells, to lead them away. And he obviously is decently successful for a while, but after a while, a bunch more walkers, led by Maggie, I think, show up. And then as he starts killing walkers in a pretty cool badass way, and it's kind of reminiscent of how Jesus was killing walkers back in season 9, one of the walkers that he tries to kill ends up being Negan, who dodges the attack and stabs Wells. And Maggie does something similar. And obviously, Wells is shocked and he keeps killing walkers and ultimately ends up being overwhelmed by them. So I really like how this is very reminiscent of the way Jesus died, in him being, in him trying to kill a zombie, the zombie dodging because it's a whisperer, obviously, and the person who gets stabbed by the person in the whisperer mask being shocked, and obviously dying. But it also kind of shows how powerful the Reapers are, because he doesn't die instantly the way Jesus did. It takes a couple of hits before he falls down and he's overwhelmed by the walkers. But it was a really nice and entertaining scene like that. It's not as good as that scene because that scene was just so well executed, but it's a nice homage. I really, really liked it. That's by far my favorite scene of that. And honestly, I just want to mention a little bit of a sidetrack here is why I guess a way how I tell whether I liked an episode or not. One of the ways that I tell which episodes I like or not is if I'm excited to see other people's reactions to certain scenes. Like, for example, I was really, really curious to see multiple YouTube reactors' reaction to episode 6 with the feral people, because that's such a wild concept, and I ended up checking out even reactors who I had never seen before because I was just curious to see that many people's reactions. But to this episode and to the last episode, I haven't really given that much shit to check out. Even the ones that I usually follow, like the Normies or the No Bro Nation or Blind Wave, I haven't even really gotten to check out those reactions either, because I just don't give a shit, because there was nothing in these episodes that I was excited to see other people's reactions. But for example, in this episode, I'm actually excited to see people's reactions to this scene, because it was such a cool scene and I want to see what people think of it, you know? But yeah, let me think. Is there anything else that I'm forgetting here in the beginning? I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of filler throughout this episode, so there's not much to talk about. I guess let's first cover the Reaper part. So, you obviously have this opening part with it and everything. Then Dario, I guess, according to the plan that they have, goes to a different side of the wall where one of the Reapers who he kind of befriended a few episodes ago was, and he tries to offer him a cigarette again, similarly to what he did in one of the last few episodes. But just as the guy is about to light a cigarette, Dario ends up killing him and throws him over the wall. And that was pretty cool death. But again, it doesn't amount much because, oh, they had that one scene that they shared a few episodes ago. I guess now I care. I mean, I don't know. I just don't really feel anything. It's satisfying because I fucking want gore and violence in my post-apocalyptic zombie show, but I don't know. It's kind of just there. It doesn't really bring much. Then Dario goes back to the front wall carrying his crossbow and arrows. And I can't exactly remember if there's anything else that I'm missing. I remember one scene, Negan and Elijah are walking through the walkers. Through the minefield, and one mine ends up hitting them both, and Negan ends up helping Elijah. And I kind of like that scene because there was this little bit of emotion, I guess, is one way to say it, in Elijah's eyes, whether he wasn't sure whether Negan was actually gonna help him because of the things he has heard about him from Maggie. But Negan obviously ended up saving him and helping him because Elijah got hurt much more. So yeah, in one of the following scenes, if I remember correctly, they go onto some roof inside of Meridian where there's this fucking silly weapon, which is like full with fireworks, like, I don't know, like 50 fireworks put together that they use like some kind of a crazy weapon to kill walkers. Like, I don't understand why that is so threatening. I mean, I guess we're gonna see the fallout in episode 9, and maybe I'm gonna have to eat my words right now, but that just seems so fucking silly. And it kind of came out of fucking nowhere. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. But, yeah. So I believe in that scene, Darrow tries to tell Leah, and he actually ends up telling her that he is actually a spy and that his people are attacking this place, that Maggie is his people. And Leah ends up crying, but she actually doesn't rat him out to Pope right off the bat. But in one of the following scenes, I don't exactly remember what exactly prompts Pope to like be ready to attack Darrow or something, but I think he is ready to attack Darrow, and Leah ends up stabbing him in the neck. And I gotta say, what a fucking waste. Why? Why have Leah kill him? Just why? I just don't get it. It's not satisfying, not particularly at least. And what's the whole point of building up this thing of Pope marked you with Maggie if Maggie doesn't even get a face off with him? They didn't even fucking meet. So what was the point of that? Like, I just don't get it. That was all for nothing. Like, again, it makes sense why Leah kills him, but it's not satisfying or fun. He didn't get to meet Maggie. It could have been kind of cool to meet Gabriel, and maybe because Pope is such a religiously based character, it could have had some interesting conversation between the two. But no, we send out the plank of wood that is Darrow, who didn't really give Pope anything to bounce off of to make him more entertaining, and he ends up being fucking killed off not even by Darrow. So what the fuck was the point of that? It's like somebody shoved in a fucking spin-off into my main show. Like, why? Why? And he doesn't... Like, he didn't even end up fighting anybody. So what was the fucking point of that? Why? I swear, if I find out that Norman Reedus was the one who came up with this, again, similarly to how the lame beta death was his idea, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed. Because he didn't even get a fight. He didn't even fight Darrow. At least let him fight Darrow. Like, okay, it would have been cool if he fought Maggie. But Darrow? Why didn't you let him at least fight Darrow? Like, you didn't even give me that. Like, usually you give they usually give everything to Darrow. Every cool moment is given to Darrow. But not this time? Of all times? Why? I just don't get it. So that really fucking pissed me off. Like, I was satisfied that he was dead at least, because it means we're at least fucking done with this storyline, but it so simply could have been better. The dumbest character possible, the least interesting character who could have killed him, ended up killing him. Fucking Carver killing Pope would have been more interesting. But no, it's Leah with a backstab. And obviously now she has become the leader of the Reapers. And I guess maybe we're gonna see some face-off between her and Maggie. Which, now that I think about it, that possibly could be their way of having the leader of the Reapers face off against Maggie. Because it probably would have been a little unrealistic to have Maggie fight somebody as big and threatening as Pope. But again, that doesn't excuse the fact that you didn't have the Pope at least fight Darrow for one For a couple of seconds, goddammit, for a couple of seconds. I would do anything to just get that. But no. And we have the shitty fucking cliffhanger at the end with the fireworks being shot at Negan and Maggie, as if either one of them is gonna fucking die there. It just really fucking pissed me off, because as the closer we were getting to the end of the episode, I was like, there's no way they're gonna end this anytime soon. There's no way they're gonna wrap up these storylines and these things they're setting up in this episode in the next, 15 minutes. And I was fucking right. And I'm sad that I was right. And I don't know whether I'm mad about this or not, but it's so fucking annoying that episodes that, a lot of episodes in the last 3 seasons who should have deserved to get extended versions of them. Episodes that should have been extended didn't get extended, but episodes in the later Gimpo era, in episode 7, season 7 and 8, and season 8, constantly got extended episodes. Why couldn't we have that now with episodes that certainly need that shit? All I'm saying is, episode 9 better be fucking amazing. Because I'm really fucking close to being done with this show after this episode. It really fucking pissed me off. Again, probably similarly to the last episode, it's gonna grow on me and I'm not gonna be as mad after a while, but god fucking damn it, the show is just really trying its hardest to piss me off, I feel like. And I don't want to hate it. I don't want to. And right now, I might be overly pissy and overly negative. I'm still not, gonna drop the show because it's the last season. But, it makes it very annoying for me to review this episode. Because I don't like shitting on something. I don't like ranting for, an hour. Because not only I kind of lose my thoughts throughout it, and I don't think that's particularly entertaining, but, it's just not fun. I like enjoying stuff and telling you guys how much I enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we should also mention some of the Alexandria stuff that we have in this episode. We actually don't have any Commonwealth stuff, but we do have some Alexandria stuff, which I guess makes sense. We didn't mention Alexandria in the last episode, so it only makes sense like this. But yeah, we have mention of Alexandria being in the middle of a storm and dealing with holes inside of the community through which walkers are able to get in again. And I assume Alexandrians are all holed up in different houses and not all of them in one house, because it seemed like very few people are in that one house that we were in this episode. But for the most part, I thought the scenes in Alexandria were actually fine. Or like the scene in which they were deciding on what everybody was going to do. I like seeing Connie be back with the group. It was really fucking satisfying. And I like how she decided to go out with Carol together to, I think, put out what's the thing? I forget. The windmill. They were going out to put out the windmill, and I think some of the other ones ended up going out to fix the wall. So we had Virgil, Judith, Gracie, Rosita, and Lydia staying back in the house. And also, I just want to mention that I really like the subtle scene of Connie sitting right beside Virgil, who is obviously hurt and lying down. At least I'm pretty sure it was Connie and Virgil, because it was like a quick glance of the camera they showed that, but I liked it, It showed that there has been a little bit of a bond between the two characters now. Although I really hope they don't build a romance between the two, because if Leah survives the next episode and she comes in with Daryl and she ends up being with Daryl while Connie ends up being with Virgil, I'm really gonna be pissed about that, because I am a Donnie shipper, 100%. And honestly, either way, I don't know how that's gonna make any fucking sense when you consider the Daryl and Carol spin-off. So, yeah, we'll see where that's gonna go. So, I guess another thing that bothers me in the about this episode in this part is that once Aaron, Carol, Kelly, Magna, and Connie end up going outside of the house to deal with issues inside of Alexandria in the storm, they're pretty much outside of the episode. Why? Are you again saving this shit for that episode? Like for the next episode, for the mid-season premiere? Because, like, fine, yes, that's probably gonna make that episode really fucking exciting and fast-paced. But it kind of feels makes this episode feel so fucking weird because we don't ever see them do anything outside. So it feels weird, like, oh, they kind of left us behind to fend on our own. Especially because very soon after they went out, Walker started swarming the house and ended up getting inside anyway. I gotta say, another thing that bothers me, yes, I know I keep saying that, but another thing that is starting to rub me the wrong way, I mean, it rubbed me the wrong way already when it happened in episode 2 with Dario walking inside of the metro, cabin and was shooting walkers, and the cool version of the opening theme of the show was playing. It pissed me off that way because it felt like they were like making this averagely cool moment be much more epic than it deserved to be. Similarly, in this episode, we have Rosita getting outside of the house to kill a bunch of walkers who are starting to swarm the house. And similarly, it's not as noticeable, but you can still kind of see like a epic version of the theme song or some kind of like an epic theme playing during that part when she kills walkers. When it's like, cool. We've seen that done many times. I don't think there's anything particularly epic about this one, so I don't know. And then the way she just walks inside in this obviously trailer baity way, where she just walks inside and stands, like, who does that? Like, I'm okay with rule of cool moments in this show, but don't bite the hand that feeds you, you know? Don't overextend yourself. And it's already kind of caused the spawn of a bunch of theories about whether she got bit during that scene, and I don't think that's gonna be the case, but I can definitely see why people think that might be the case, because it is very similar in execution to what was done with Carl back in season 8, so yeah, there's that. We have a couple of interesting interactions between Judith and Gracie, where Gracie says that she wants to be as brave and as smart as Judith and capable as Judith. And honestly, in that scene, it kind of bothered me because, in a way, the show kind of acknowledged how much more smarter and more mature Judith is than Gracie. Because a lot of people have criticized how Judith is an unrealistic kid and it's mature beyond her years, while the other kids seem to be normal kids. And I've never really agreed with that, but like in those scenes where they were talking about that and the show was essentially acknowledging it, I kind of, I guess, got their point, because Gracie and Judith are obviously very close, but for one of them to be, I guess, more fearful like that, while Judith is much more capable and everything, it's a weird contrast, you know? Although we obviously had Judith be fearful and incapable of protecting herself as well back in, I think it was season 9. Yeah, it was season 9, episode 14, when she ended up leaving Alexandria for something and Michonne had to save her. So, obviously she's also sometimes incapable, but I guess she's matured earlier. And then at the end of the episode, as they're looking for a weapon that Gracie could protect herself like Judy does with her sword. They end up being caught in the basement, which is also flooding, because as while they were in the basement looking for a weapon, everybody else ended up going to the second floor because the walkers had gotten inside the house. And that's where the episode ends. I mean, again, it's fine, but why couldn't this have been the penultimate episode? I genuinely feel like you could take a lot of content that's pointless and useless, and it's just characters walking or looking at stuff from the last 7 episodes that are essentially worth of 1 episode's time, and could have had episode 9 be episode 8. You didn't have to put this as the mid-season finale. I don't know. It was dumb. It was worse than the season 10 mid-season finale. 100%. So yeah, in terms of a rating for this one, I'm honestly going to give it even a lower rating of 7.6 out of 10. Because it was kind of worse. I mean, it had some cool moments again, but like, it's very hard to really judge both this episode and the last episode that properly. Because I have a lot of irrational hate about them. So probably at some point in the future, when I'm, I guess, maybe rewatching the show, I will re-review all of these episodes if I have anything to say about them. And I feel like for a lot of them, I probably will have a lot to say, but I might do a more proper review then. But yeah, that's how I feel about this one. So yeah, before we end this video though, I just want to give a huge thanks to my currently one and only patron on Patreon, Omari Bridgman. If you want to join that person in supporting me, you can do that on Patreon or on my recently created account on Ko-fi, which for those of you who don't know is a website that is very similar to Patreon, with some fundamental differences, like the fact that Ko-fi is more focused on simple donations, while Patreon is more for long-term support. So you can support me through either one of those websites if you want, or maybe not support me monetarily at all. That's also a choice. It's completely up to you. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you enjoy my stories, or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to Patreon where you can pledge support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think that's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!